Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am coming to you today from Boston, Massachusetts, my old home before I moved to London. And if this view looks familiar behind me, people who've watched this channel for a while, I am actually staying at the Colonnade Hotel in Boston's Back Bay. But before we get into what I'm up to in Boston, let's do a little recap of today. So my morning started bright and early. About 7:45, I was leaving the house to get my way over to Heathrow Airport for an early morning flight. And yeah, all went really smoothly. So hopped on the Heathrow Express train from Paddington, which is so great. You can be at the airport in 15 to 20 minutes, depending on which terminal you're going to. So I highly recommend that. It's so much faster and less expensive than taking a taxi. And then I was flying American Airlines directly to Boston. I had splurged to do premium economy and it was such a great experience. They actually asked me to move my seat when I was at the gate to accommodate a family, and I ended up getting a whole 2 seats to myself, which was awesome. And I actually, for the first time ever, decided to do the vegan vegetarian meal because I am trying to eat more plant-based. I'm not exclusively vegan, but it's something that my doctor recommended, and I won't go into why, but I'm like, why not try the meal on the plane? And it was really good. I ate way too much because I had eaten a little breakfast at Pret, and then I had these 2 hugely filling meals on the plane, the first of which was more like an Indian vegan meal, which was really nice. And oh, the chocolate mousse pudding, so good. And then the second one that I had was less good. It was a bit more bland, but it was like a rice lentil kind of salad with some tofu, and I mean, very lovely and healthy, which was great, and some berries as the dessert. So I feel like even though I consumed a lot of food today, I feel like I was eating really nice healthy food compared to what I might normally consume on the plane. So that was lovely. And now I'm here in snowy Boston, and I'm trying to debate if I do like a dedicated video on my stay at the Colonnade, because I just did one like last year, but I'll do a quick little spin around the room in this vlog, and then if you see a second vlog about my hotel room review, then you know I decided to do another one. But let's go take a little quick tour of the room. So the reason why I really like this hotel is because the rooms are massive with a capital M. This is a king size room. It's a standard room at the hotel. When you walk in, you see the massive bed. You've got, I think this room could be made into an adjoining room, which is great if you're traveling with a family. But we've got, you know, really think, I love the lamps in this hotel. They're really cool. You've got a closet here, which has a mirror, hello. And I've not kind of unpacked yet, but some hangers and space. What I have done is exploded my luggage there. And what I really like about this room is if you need to do some work, or you just want to have space to have like a coffee and sit down in the morning, you've got this really great table. And I specifically requested a room on the street side. It's actually not loud, but I think it has really great natural light throughout the day. And if I am kind of sitting at a laptop for a period of time, this view is just great. So my window is clearly very dirty, but that is the Christian Science Plaza over there. This building is called the Prudential Center. Locals call it the Pru. You've got a cheesecake factory right across the street. And then if you go a little bit further down, you've got actually a CVS and a Shaw's grocery store. So location-wise, it's great. And the train, the T, the Prudential line is like literally right either below us and across the street. So good transport links if you do that. And then the room comes with a mini fridge, which is fantastic. You've got a Keurig coffee machine, and all of the things that you see in here come free with the room. So you've got bottled water that they replenish, comes with like some creamers. Sadly, nothing like non-dairy, but I'm gonna go to Shaw's and get some non-dairy. And then yeah, your Keurig Green Mountain coffee, and then one kind of tea. So 2 teas, green tea. So yeah, and then I was actually just watching this TV as I was getting ready. Massive TV, which is such a treat. and obviously in-room kind of AC heat, which is fantastic, works really well. And then let's go check out the bathroom quickly. It's a little messy because I have already taken a shower, so bear with me here. It looks like very pink in the camera, but it's actually all gray and wooden. But yeah, you've got, I mean, you know, probably a little crowded for two with just one kind of vanity, but I think very workable. Comes with a hair dryer. The towels are super lovely here. You got your toilet, you got the shower. As you can see, I've already kind of taken some use of it. Yeah, so, you know, I think it's just, oh, and hello. So yeah, so now I've actually got to go run downstairs. I have a friend meeting me here. We're gonna go for a little walk because I've been traveling for a long time and I just want to stretch the legs. So if we get up to anything else really cool, I will come back and chat with you about it. Hey guys. So my first day in Boston was a very lovely one. I ended up walking all the way across the city, but didn't film it because I was catching up with a friend and having a long talk, and it was freezing. But we did, one thing I did film, we did end up at this really cool new food hall that is next to the TD Garden, which is where like the Bruins play and the Celtics play, so ice hockey and basketball for those not aware. And it's next to the Citizen M Hotel. And we went to the, I'm gonna leave it all down on the screen here, but we went to a really cool kind of Japanese / ramen spot, which definitely literally hit the spot. And despite eating a ton on the airplane already, I decided just to get some small snacky things. So I got the spicy chicken wontons. I think they were chicken. Outstanding. I want to bottle that sauce. It was so good. It's also the same sauce that comes in the ramen. And then I also wanted to try some of the baos. So I had a pork bao and a snow crab bao. And I have to say, out of the two, the pork bao was hands down my favorite. I would definitely recommend this. I didn't really like the snow crab one. I mean, I still ate it, but it was a little bit fishy for me. And I actually really like seafood, so I don't know, it just wasn't my, I usually do like crab and snow crab. I just didn't like this one. And then I didn't actually film my friend's stuff, but there were also some duck fat fries on the table, massive thing of ramen, and a bunch of other dishes. So would absolutely recommend this spot if you're looking for a cool new spot to try. Very casual inside, but super, super, super lovely, and was absolutely packed when we were there. And I'm not surprised because the food is exceptional. So as always, everything will be linked down below. It's a gorgeous sunny day again, just like yesterday. The snow is still very much on the ground. So today I'm actually going to see some friends to see their new baby, which is awesome. But I am gonna capture some footage of my kind of walk over towards their place, because I'm gonna go through some very iconic parts of Boston, including some bits of the Back Bay, Newbury Street, the Boston Public Garden, which looks so nice in the snow, and into Beacon Hill. So that'll be really cool. So I'm gonna catch some bits of those throughout my kind of coming and going between the restaurant we have for brunch as well. So we're actually also gonna go to a place in Post Office Square for lunch, which I think is called Mariel's, which looks really cool. So this is gonna be a fun day. So let's go have some fun. So I started my walk through Boston's Back Bay, and every time I come to Boston, I just have to go walk the Comm Ave Mall. It's such a beautiful stretch, but unfortunately on this occasion, it was still pretty icy, so I braved it for a few blocks before giving up, but a little bit on the Comm Ave Mall. For those who have never been to Boston, it is like a divided highway. So Comm Ave stands for Commonwealth Avenue, and it is a divided highway where there's two lane roads of traffic on each end of it, one going in just a one-way direction, and in the middle is all pedestrian. And it's just it's a 32-acre series of parks flanked by trees. There's some statues in some of them. There's park benches. So you'll often just see people going for a stroll, people walking their dogs. It's a really lovely place. And the Comm Ave Mall originates from 1856, and it was designed in a French boulevard style by Arthur Gilman, and it was essentially meant to become one of the most beautiful streets in Boston. It was designed for that beauty, and today it is a very prestigious street. If you own a property on Comm Ave, you're doing pretty well for yourself. And if you're lucky enough to rent there, props to you, because it definitely is a very well-to-do part of town, and for good reason. It's centrally located in the Back Bay, which is a great neighborhood, but it's also a very beautiful place for a stroll. So after braving the snow and ice on the Comm Ave Mall, I made my way into the Boston Public Garden. And let me tell you, the Boston Public Garden in the snow, oh, I just think this park is so beautiful at any time of year, but wow, seeing it in the snow was just extra special. So the Boston Public Garden was established in 1837. It is quite a bit older than its neighboring park, the Boston Common, which was actually created in 1634 as America's first public park. But in contrast, the Public Garden is actually known as the first public botanical garden in America, and this is for its kind of decorative you know, hedges, the flowers, the beautiful paths for strolling. And if you do, it's a really great park to visit any time of year. It's definitely a much safer park to visit than the Boston Common. Unfortunately, as time, even since when I was living here, when I was in my 20s, the public garden's always been very safe, whereas the Common has had kind of more homeless people, sometimes some questionable activities happening, like drugs and things like that. I mean, in general, Boston is pretty safe, but I always feel like I have to be more on my guard in the Common than I do in the Public Garden. But what's nice about the Public Garden is just go for a nice stroll, wander all the way through it. But if you come in the summer, and if you have kids, you can go on the famous swan boats, which go through the lake in the Public Garden, which is quite a cool thing. And another thing to check out is the Make Way for Ducklings statues, which is a famous series of statues in the Public Garden as well. So definitely one of my hands down favorite spots to see in Boston, and would definitely recommend you visit as well if you're in town. So after being in the Public Garden, I made my way across to the Common, and I didn't actually venture in too far because I was going up to Beacon Hill to meet some friends. But one thing I did want to call out is in the winter, one thing that's really fun to do in the Boston Common, especially if you have children or just simply love ice skating, is to go visit the Frog Pond. So the Frog Pond is a really fun spot for ice skating. It's very iconic in Boston to go ice skating there in the winter, and I was able to film a little bit of it from afar, so I apologize if you can't see it super clearly, but obviously given that there's a lot of young people, I didn't want to get too close, but just wanted to give you an idea that if you were planning a visit to Boston in the winter, that is something that would exist that you can do. But if you are in the Boston Common, you also can check out the Massachusetts State House, which has its iconic golden dome, or you can kind of continue on further along the Freedom Trail towards like Faneuil Hall and the North End as well, which makes for a really great walk because Boston is really just such a wonderful walking city. After meeting my friends, we walked over to Post Office Square in the financial district to try a new place. So somewhere I've never been in Boston before, called Mariel's, and wow, what a treat. My friends know me so well. They know exactly the kind of places that I would love to visit, and this restaurant is gorgeous. It's a Cuban restaurant and the interior just has been done so well. So we sat in the bar area, and no sooner did we sit down, but we saw someone sitting near us that had this like tree-like sculpture with limes on fire with cocktails in like the branches. And we're like, yeah, I think we have to have that. We discovered the cocktails were lime daiquiris, and we went for it. So that was really cool. The daiquiris were good. It almost kind of like, daiquiris almost tasted more like a kamikaze shot, but maybe just because I had too many of those back in my days of my youth. But yeah, it was really fun and just a bit of, I guess, ceremony. So that was really cool. And then we proceeded to order our brunch items. We started with the mozzarella waffle sticks, which came with a cheese stuffed waffle stick, spicy guava lime maple dip, and a butter float. These were so unbelievably good. I can't even begin to tell you how good these were. Definitely one of my favorite things of the meal. And then after that, we also had the chicken tots, which were Cuban sweet potatoes, spicy Caribbean mayo, and key lime, I guess, with some chicken in there, which were also really good, and I would definitely recommend those. I mean, anything with like a spicy mayo is just something I love. And then for my main, I had the broken eggs, which was shoestring white potatoes with sunny eggs, pecorino, smoked paprika, and garlic mayo. This was really good, although I didn't realize the shoestring potatoes were gonna be like these like little stringy fried bits. So it was very good, but I probably would have liked more of like a cubed and fried or kind of well roasted potato instead, but I enjoyed it. It was just a bit naughty. And then my friends had the ensalada del campo, which came with shaved Brussels sprouts, gem lettuce, avocado crema, pecorino, and almonds, and she added a side of the grilled chicken adobo on there. And then my other friend had the pressed cubano, which came with slow roasted pork, pressed ham, Gruyere, pickles, mustard, Marion, Cuban bread, and garlic butter. So very good. And then after our lime daiquiris, I splurged and had a pina colada, which came with coffee grounds in it, which was also very good, very rich. Definitely was like full on coconut cream in there, but it's almost like dessert, so, you know, as you do. But if you are coming to Boston, this place just looks fun. I definitely recommend that you book ahead because it is such a vibe inside. You can see how even for brunch, lunch, dinner, this is the kind of place that will completely fill up. So you heard it here first. Hey guys, I can't believe it's already day 3 in Boston, and today was a working day for me, but after I went to kind of take my laptop to a really cool cafe called Trident. So it's called Trident Booksellers and Cafe. It's on Newbury Street in the Back Bay. I feel like this is a Boston institution, and it's a very chill, low-key place. It's the kind of place where if you just want like a cup of coffee, a smoothie, alcoholic beverage, you can just go hang out there. But they also serve breakfast all day and have a really great menu. So it's my go-to spot when I'm craving some eggs and just want a great place to sit and work from for a bit. So that's exactly what I did. I had the Build Your Own Eggs Benedict, which was really good. So I had mine with ham and avocado, and they come with really good breakfast potatoes. I did also ask for a vanilla latte, but it was really terrible. I don't know if someone just burnt the heck out of it. So I don't know. I haven't I wouldn't say it's the best for the coffee, so maybe go for the tea, or the fresh juices and smoothies there are really good, so I would recommend those instead. But yeah, really great spot if you're just looking for something low-key. I mean, overall, I'm finding Boston a lot more expensive than I remember it being. I think today's meal was like $26 for like eggs Benedict and a coffee. But you know, and this is like for a very casual, low-key place, but I guess it is what it is. But I would definitely still recommend it, especially if you're looking for a place to, you know, enjoy a good place to work with reliable Wi-Fi, etc., etc. Another great spot that I ate at during my time in Boston is called Lola 42, and for those familiar with the Boston area, specifically Nantucket, Lola 42 is the sister restaurant of a famous restaurant on the island of Nantucket, which I've actually never eaten at myself, but a friend recommended that we go there for dinner, and I was very excited to try it out. So we started with the Hong Kong chicken lettuce wraps. They come with ginger, scallions, green beans, crispy lettuce, and of course some chilies. I thought these were okay. So the chicken was perfectly cooked, maybe a touch dry, and I think the suggestion that I would have had is I was looking for some sort of like dipping sauce for the lettuce wraps, or like some spicy aioli or something like that that would have just added like a little bit more flavor to it. Obviously these were good and they're healthier being a lettuce wrap, but it wasn't candidly my favorite of the meal. For the sushi rolls, we took the recommendation of our server and had the Captain Jose, which comes with spicy salmon and cucumber, topped with salmon kiwi and black tobiko with sesame, ahi, mirin, aioli. So I thought this one was pretty good. It was not my favorite of the two sushi rolls that we had. I love any kind of sushi with salmon, so I did enjoy this, and I was very curious to see what kiwi would taste like on a sushi roll, and I thought it was nice, but I actually liked the other one that we had better, which was the anada, which comes with spicy tuna, scallion, sriracha, or togashi, cucumber, tempura flakes, shiso topped with tuna and wasabi oil. This one was fantastic, and I think because that subtle kick of spice with the crunch, it was very, very satisfying to eat and had very nice kind of flavor pairing. So I would definitely recommend this one. And overall, I did really enjoy my experience, although I will say when we first sat down, they gave us, I think, arguably the worst table in the restaurant. There's one table next to where the door from the kitchen comes out, and it was like a speed race of people like powering in and out, and it was just so distracting. And there were two other tables to my right that were further into the restaurant, so I did ask and they made a little production of it, but they did move us. So just a lesson that if you don't ask, you don't get. And they did tell me a tip that a lot of times when people make the bookings, they specify the tables that they want at the restaurant, so you could also be cheeky and say, I don't want the table next to the kitchen door. And I would recommend that. So play the game better, right? Even if you've never been there before. But Lola 42 is in Boston's Seaport district, and Boston Seaport is a hugely vibrant neighborhood. There's a bunch of hotels there. The Institute of Contemporary Art is there. It's not far from the Boston Children's Museum and Fort Point Channel, so it is a great neighborhood to explore and even to stay in if you're on a visit to Boston, because it really does have so many great restaurants and things to offer. Another great spot that I would recommend that's inexpensive and casual would be the Clover Food Lab. I remember back when I lived in Boston, I had a friend who actually was one of the chefs on for Clover and worked on their then food truck outside of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the university which is based in Cambridge. And it's incredible to see how far Clover has come from its very humble food truck beginnings. I went to the location in the Prudential Center, or the Pru, as locals call it, and Clover is a vegetarian restaurant. So obviously I think there can be some swaps made to make things vegan. but I wanted just something healthy and simple and satisfying for lunch, and the Prudential Center does have free Wi-Fi, so I thought, great, I can bring my laptop, do a bit of work. And oh my gosh, I got the chickpea fritter sandwich, and it was absolutely incredible. So the chickpea fritter sandwich comes in a pita bun, but inside of it is this kind of I think it would be either vegetarian or vegan chickpea fritter, which are kind of like, they're small versus like larger falafel kind of balls. And it came with pickled vegetables, so carrots, diced tomatoes, cucumbers, and then it also has hummus and tahini sauce. And oh, this is all the things I love in a sandwich, and it was hugely satisfying. I got this with a hibiscus iced tea, which is a touch on the sweet side, but not overwhelmingly so. It was really nice and refreshing and just made for the kind of perfect, wonderful lunch. I think it was like $13 and change all in, so not so bad compared to some other options in Boston. And it does come nicely packed if you just want something to go. I'm actually gonna go back again today before I get one before I'm on my way out of Boston. It was that good. For my final meal in Boston, I went to a wonderful sushi restaurant in Boston's South End neighborhood called Oishi. And this place is really good, and I haven't been in so many years, so I was really excited to go back and experience, and what a meal it was. Let's dig in. We started our meal at Oishi in the most epic way possible with the salmon on fire, and it was exactly as described, the most incredible presentation. So it's pieces of salmon, literally with flames burning up under them to lightly toast the salmon, which are coated in fried shallots. And there is a raspberry dipping sauce that you dip the kind of lightly cooked salmon into. So good, so cool to experience. So definitely a must try if you like a little bit of dinner theater when at Oishi. So in terms of the sushi that we had, my friend did an assortment of some traditional sushi items. To me, I actually really prefer rolls more when I do sushi. I don't know, I just can't do tons and tons of like the big kind of pieces of raw fish. It's not so, like the sashimi, it's not so much for me. But I had a look through some of the rolls. The standout roll was For the Love of Salmon, which comes with tobiko, avocado, spicy mayo, seared king salmon, ikura, shiso, and cucumber. And it's the presentation of this roll is incredible, and the flavor of the actual roll meets the presentation, which is wonderful. I thought there was a lot of like complexity to this, and just wonderful, wonderful assortment of flavors, as well as like some nice kind of bed of vegetables that the roll came on. Now, we also did some traditional rolls. We did a salmon avocado roll, which is one of my favorite classic rolls, and the spicy tuna roll. Really loved the spicy tuna roll as well. My friend decided that I was gonna have to become a more adventurous sushi person, and he encouraged that we tried the salmon roe with the quail egg. And I actually did like it. I don't know that I loved it as much as, say, like, I really liked the spicy tuna roll and For the Love of Salmon rolls, so loved those. And then of course we had some edamame to round it out. So overall was really happy with the sushi selection. Oishi is always a great one if you like sushi. And then to finish, we had this green tea layer cake, and this was really good as well. And it's just one of those cakes where all of those really thin little layers, those little thin sheets, just makes me wonder how long it takes to make that kind of cake. But that was really good, and it came with some dark chocolate, white chocolate, and some seasoned raisins as well, which was a really nice flavor pairing with the rest of the cake. So yeah. So with that said, that wraps up my time in Boston. I had hoped that I would actually get to do more on this trip, but I was working so much. It's just a very busy time right now. So I was a bit more holed up in my hotel room, which is behind me, than I would have liked to be. But I hope this at least gives you some inspiration on some wonderful restaurants to try if you find yourself in Boston, as well as a couple great sights to see. I think seeing the Comm Ave Mall and the Boston Public Garden and the Common in the snow is always such a treat. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you've been to Boston and you have some great tips to share, leave a comment down below. Sharing is caring here on this channel. And if you want to see more of my travel adventures in London and abroad, please hit that subscribe button. Would love to have you join me on this fun and exciting journey. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you soon.